What's up, Chicago? Sorry, I know I've been MIA for the last few weeks, but I think you all as Bears fans can understand that you just needed a little bit of time to recover and kind of recollect myself from these consecutive losses that we've had. It's a little, I'm not going to lie, it's a little hard to be a Bears fan right now. But it's not as hard as being Justin Fields or Matt Eberflus or any of the Bears coaches for that matter. At least in my job and my work, I don't have random people from the internet like this guy telling us that we should be fired from our job because we don't know how to coach the Chicago Bears. So, it sucks to be a Chicago Bears fan, but at least you're not Matt Eberflus or Luke Getsy. But let's catch up for a second. Let's go back. When we lost against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which was our second game, we were already 0-3. I don't think anyone picked the Bears last week to win against Kansas City except maybe Adam Rank, which he can't be serious. Like, I don't think he actually bet money on that. I'm not a betting man, but I'm considering betting against the Bears for the remainder of the season because either the Bears win or I win some money. And then maybe by the end of the season, I'll be happy with the money that I won. That being said, I haven't lost all hope for the Bears. Going back to my record prediction video, my way too optimistic record prediction video, I said the Bears could go 8-9. I hope they would finish somewhere between 7-10 or 10-7. And now, after I've calmed down after the Kansas City loss, after a good week of rest and recovery and meditation and breathing technique and no Bears games, but Packers lost, after all that, I thought about it and I would rather go 0-9 to start the season. If we're going to end up with an 8-9 record, I would rather go 0-9 to start the season rather than starting it with 8-0. I think that most Bears fans would agree with that. I think that Bears fans want to see progression rather than regression. And that's why the Kansas City game was so hard to watch, because it looked like the Super Bowl champions playing the worst team in the league still. So there's no progression being made there. It would have been honestly better for my mental health and my overall mood if I didn't watch the game and I looked at the final score and I've been like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So it's just a little bit surprising to me to see how mad everyone was after the Kansas City game. Like the reactions to losing to Tampa Bay weren't nearly as dramatic as losing to Kansas City. And I'm like, we were never gonna beat Kansas City. So I just don't really understand it. So I'm not gonna sit here and say that we should fire everyone. Would I be surprised if the Bears organization cleared house before the end of the year? I mean, no, not entirely, but a little bit, because they typically don't fire coaches or staff like mid-year, aside from Alan Williams, but we won't talk about that. But I will say that personally, I think we need to give this another year or two. And before you want to kill me, let me explain. I think Poles did a good job this offseason improving our roster with what he had. He set us up next year with extra draft picks. Having an extra first-round draft pick could make a ton of difference, like a huge difference next year. I think Darnell Wright is performing like a first-rounder. I think he's doing well. And, let's just say that Justin Fields is the guy. We'll talk about that in another video, but let's just pretend right now that Justin Fields makes his strides, he makes improvements, and that he is the guy going forward. Having 2 picks in the first round and not needing to draft a quarterback is kind of huge. We could pick up a defensive end or just another defensive tackle. We could pick up some offensive linemen. We could pick up a wide receiver. Not needing a quarterback in the first round would just be amazing for us going forward, obviously. But then again, if we are the worst team in the NFL and we have the number 1 overall pick, drafting Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. in the same year doesn't sound half bad. P.S. Draft a center. Anyways, we need to remember that last year was a rebuild year. We went 3-14. We got the first overall pick, and the Bears fan base as a whole, or at least for the most part, was okay with that. I was okay with that. I was really excited when we got the first overall pick, and I thought Poles did a good job handling that, picking up extra picks, getting Darnell Wright, and setting us up for the future. I thought he did a good job. This is now year 2 of the rebuild. Eberflus mentioned like a week or so ago that we have 30 new players on this roster. 30 on a 53-man roster. That's 56.6% of this team that were not here last year. This is not a team yet. Poles is building the roster on paper. These players have to build the team. It takes time to gel together. You know what they say, that you can't build Rome in a day. Also, this is Eberflus's second year as a head coach. I know that Bears fans, and including myself, we deserve better. We deserve wins, but we also need to have faith in the process just a little bit. There's people out there saying that Eberflus needs to get fired and that he's not angry enough after these losses. I think that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Having emotion is fine. And as many times as we've heard, we got to go back to our technique and our fundamentals, I'd still rather have this.
We focus more on technique, more on fundamentals. We tried to highlight that like we do every week.
Than this.
What do you think happens when you have to cause a first half like that, where you got nothing?
I mean, you saw it, Pete. I mean, we got our ass kicked. If I knew, it wouldn't have happened.
Matt, they didn't blitz until...
That's a BS question, man.
They didn't blitz until...
In my opinion, it's too early for this talk of firing everyone. It's been a year and 3 games. I simply don't want to go through this every 2 years. It doesn't make sense. This is not how to build championship organizations. And look, honestly, I don't know if any of these coaches or any of these players are actually worth keeping around. But it's only fair that we give them their due opportunity. If we don't see any improvement this year and we go 3-14 again, then at that point, maybe it is time for a different conversation. But we're not there yet. And just for a quick comparison, so Dan Campbell, the head coach of the Lions, started his head coaching career in Detroit in 2021, where they went 3-13 and 1 tie. The next year, last year, when we hired Eberflus, they started 1-6, and then they ended 9-8. This year, they're off to a 3-1 start. So if you compare Eberflus and our rebuild to the Lions rebuild, we're 1 year behind them. So again, I wanted an 8-9 record. Dan Campbell ended up 9-8 his second year. So we need to go out there, we as in the Bears, need to go out there tomorrow. We need to focus, and we need to get that W against the Broncos. The team needs to go out there and they need to show something. They need to show it early in the game and consistently throughout the game. Otherwise, the fans are just going to be booing them. And I won't even blame them. Like, they're paying way too much money for these tickets, and they want to see good entertainment, not some kind of high school football game. So it's the Bears' job to do something about that. Perform like champions or start giving away your tickets for free. Hell, I mean, as bad as the Bears are, I'll take some free tickets. Sorry, guys. I know that was a bit of a rant. I'm honestly just sick of the fire everyone talk. It's just not that time yet. Let's see this season through. Let's support our team as much as humanly possible without losing our minds. It's not worth our sanity. It's not worth our sanity. It's not worth our sanity. It's not worth... And that's all we can really do. Otherwise, we got to go out there and find another team. And I just hate them. So let's go Bears. Bear down. Let's get the win tomorrow. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so my rants and my BS can reach the masses. That's what we're going for here. Seriously though, thank you for your support. And hopefully you won't see me screaming tomorrow. And with that, bear down. Oomph. Let's support our team. What else can we do? We can go be Lions or Packers fans? No. Nah, broski. Shit.